Good evening, Lowdown Nation. We are live on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. And tonight is episode 15 of The Lowdown with Matt. And in just a few minutes, I'll be bringing in my guest. Tonight, it is my pleasure to have Sweez, who is the bass player for Charlotte, North Carolina-based Forever May Fall. And I do want to make mention that, tonight the city of Charlotte and that area has suffered a terrible loss. For those of you that have not heard, there was apparently a police situation earlier today where a U.S. Marshal task force was trying to serve a warrant, and it ended up with 3 U.S. Marshals being shot and killed. A 4th Marshal was injured, and 4 Charlotte and Mecklenburg police officers were shot as well. And one of them is supposedly in critical condition. But anyway, just a terrible thing. So, all of our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Charlotte, the police department, the U.S. Marshals, and all of the families and friends associated with those folks. But anyway, on a happier note, I'm going to go ahead and bring Sweez in, and we can get started with the festivities for this evening. Sweez, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, how are things in Charlotte?
Well, besides what you mentioned, pretty good. I would also like to take the time to also express my sorrow and gratitude for the heroes that every day go out and put their lives on the line. And unfortunately, this is sometimes the effect of those that try to make our neighborhoods and communities and our country safe. So my thoughts and prayers are also with those fallen officers and their families. And there's not much else I can do, but I mean, you can probably donate and things like that. I'm going to look into it. I'm sure that the families are grieving, and I'm terribly sorry for their loss.
Absolutely. It's just a terrible thing. But on a happier note, like I said, we'll kind of get into the swing of things here, Sweez, and we'll start with the first and most obvious question. How long have you been playing bass?
I don't want to show my age, but several decades, I guess. I'm 44. I've been playing since I was about 18. So, yep, there you go. About 25 years.
Nice. In your journey as a bassist, have you taken lessons at any point, or are you pretty much self-taught? How has that gone?
Mostly self-taught. As a kid, I used to mess around with one of those old Casio keyboards and, make silly little songs. You could record little fart noises into the microphone and then, make little fart noises up and down the keys. So from there, I went to my buddy's house one day who bought like a learner's, it was a dual combo learner kit of 2 very crappy bass guitar, one bass guitar and one guitar. And he didn't want to play bass, so he gave me the bass for like $50. And I said, well, how does this work? He's like, well, the open string's an E. And then I was like, but if you hit down right here on the very first thing, he's like, well, that's an F. I'm like, I got it. And then I, started immediately playing Another One Bites the Dust, kind of, like I kind of put what I learned on piano to a stringed instrument, and it was kind of self-taught all from there, except for just playing with other people and bands that I really get their tabs. And this is back in the day when the tabs you get were written on a notebook and notebook, the program notebook, and it was just horrible to decipher, and it was usually incorrect unless you paid the extra money to get the official tablature books.
Right. So you were basically doing sampling on the little Casio before anybody really knew what sampling was.
I made some terrible songs with my 4-track as well.
No doubt. So do you play any other instruments besides bass?
The harmonica. That's probably about it. I could hold a 4/4 beat on the drums, but ask me to do anything other than that, I'm all thumbs.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of thumbs and other digits, are you mostly a fingerstyle player, or do you use a pick, or is it situational?
It's certainly situational, especially from like learning from my one of my main influences is Geezer Butler, and so he would play with fingers up near the up near the neck, and so that's the kind of way that I started, and then just from different artists that I listened to and the ways that they play, and certain songs there's certain songs that you can try to play with a pick if it's finger based, but usually it doesn't sound correctly because of the way that the notes and the sustain. So personally, I like fingers, but it also really depends on the style of music. For the band that I'm playing in, no, the pick works a lot better. So I'm playing pick for Forever May Fall.
Gotcha. So tell me about your current gear and your live setup. You know, what are you playing? What are you playing through? Do you use any effects? That kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Well, I have a five string Ibanez as well as a 4-string Mitchell. I really like them. What I'm playing through is that we've kind of gone ampless. We're going through the systems in our rack. We use I believe the guitars uses an X32, and I have a dark glass preamp box. It's a very beautiful piece of machinery. It's tiny. It's about the size of like 2 index cards, but a little bit fatter. And it's got an 8-band equalizer on it, and you can direct it right to the house. I put it right into the rack. The rack goes right to the house speakers. So yeah, I don't have to carry
nice.
my heavy 215 cabinet with the very, very heavy head with it as well. I mean, I got that thing. Oh God, it was probably built in the 70s or 80s. It weighs a ton.
Yeah. I've got a 5-string Ibanez myself that I absolutely love. I just love personally. I love the way Ibanez guitars play. And that thing is surprisingly light. I mean, I just absolutely love my Ibanez.
Absolutely, I have a 5-string Fender as well that I don't play so much, only because the pickups are not active like the Ibanez's are. But yeah, that thing weighs a ton compared to the Ibanez.
Oh yeah. Yep. So, do you have I guess a personal preference of any kind between 4 and 5-string bass, or again, is it kind of a situational thing?
Situational, but if I had to lean on one, I play mostly songs that are on the 4-string. And you know what? Even though I've been playing for 25 years, there's always room for improvement. And I've heard an age-old saying where, why play a 5-string when you haven't learned how to play 4 yet? So, so most music I listen to, and most things that I do, you can do on a 4-string. I'm not exactly a jazz type musician or anything like that, where I need to walk the bass all the way up to the thinnest string. So. But it is fun. It is fun having it. It is fun to tool with, and for certain songs, and also actually for our band, we have a couple of different tunings for a while until I got a. It's very hard to get a tuner that goes low as low as I need it to, unless you buy like a top of the line one. So for a short while, I was using my 5-string where it was the low 4 were tuned to one setting and the 1 string was tuned to a different setting, so I could play both songs on one instrument without retuning.
Oh, smart. Yeah. So, musicians have a tendency to collect gear over the years. And do you have anything really unique or unusual in your arsenal that you'd like to talk about?
Well, that $50 bass that I told you about is signed by Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to sign it, but I waited in line for goodness knows how many hours. This is back in 2000 when they had their reunion tour, back when they even had the original lineup go back on tour. And they're sponsored by certain, vendors, and they're not supposed to autograph anything that's not in the collection. But he kind of did one of these. Give it here, I'll sign it. I'm like, okay, great. So yeah,
yeah, the old side to side look, make sure nobody's watching that shouldn't be, and
correct.
Absolutely. So, how often do you change strings?
Who changes strings?
Exactly. I always ask that, and it's interesting because bass strings are not cheap.
No, they're not. But probably sometimes like when I did play with my fingers a lot more, I would actually pop the E a lot. Whenever I'd pop the E, I would go ahead and replace everything. Now I probably change my strings, I don't know, once every 2 years or once every 6 months about, probably.
Yeah, that's seems to be about the average. That's a question I ask on most of these, and 6 months to a year seems to be sort of the sweet spot. So who are, besides Geezer Butler, who are some of your other musical and bass influences?
Flea, probably. I mean, I grew up during the whole the ride of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that guy was he's great. I mean, there's no
Oh
denying
yeah,
how awesome he is. I don't like Rush, but man, Geddy Lee can play a mean bass. It's the voice that does it,
yes he can.
but it's fantastic. Bootsy Collins, even I love a lot of funk. It's yeah.
Nice, nice. So what was the very first concert you ever went to as a fan?
Steely Dan.
Nice.
Yep, that was and they I was that was the very first concert. I wasn't a huge Steely Dan fan. I appreciate them. I like some of their songs, but I was lost because I only knew what they actually had on the radio. It was a buddy had a free ticket, took me along, drove me there, had a great time, and I was like, this is what real live music is like, because it was a great environment. Everybody was having a good time. It was a nice summer night. It was an outdoor concert. I'm like, I like this. I'm gonna keep going to these shows, and I want to be on that stage.
Very cool. Very cool. So, aside from Geezer, during your time as a musician, have you had a chance to meet any of your other musical heroes?
I mean, everybody's a hero. Anybody that
Well,
actually
yeah.
spends their time to doing what they love and trying to make a living out of it. I'm sure, but no, that was certainly the biggest hero that I've ever met. But it's so I can't really say any others. I mean, I've waited in line for, let me see. My wife drugged me to meet Typo Negative one time. That was interesting. Let me see. Trying to think if I ever bumped into Wednesday 13 of the Murder Dolls, as well as the Frankenstein Drag Queens from Planet 13. Met him a couple of times. He's a really nice guy. He's also from not from Charlotte, but I believe he's like from Salisbury, North Carolina. He's somewhere in North Carolina. Met him a couple of times because I was a big fan of his work. Trying to think who else. I don't know. Most of the times we would go to concerts, we would always just try to wait outside to see if we could catch a glimpse of an artist and meet them. Lamb of God, I met them. I got on their tour bus by bringing them beer one time. That was interesting.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
see. This was back before they were as famous as they are now. I doubt they would ever work again. But hey, you never know. Let me see.
Yeah.
Chris Barnes of 6 Feet Under and Cannibal Corpse, same thing. Yeah, they were just nice guys. So I guess I'm not telling people to stalk artists, but sometimes if if you're nice about it, you're genuine. Like, hey, I'm not a crazy person. I'm just a big fan.
Right.
Would love to bend your ear for 5 minutes.
Exactly. What I'm going to do is take a quick look over at the Instagram tab and just see if anybody is saying anything in the chat. Any of y'all that have questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop us a comment or a question for sure. So looks like not much is going on over there. So Sweez, away from music, what are some of your hobbies and interests?
Football, basketball, video games.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, big Eagles fan. Go Birds.
My wife is actually a graduate of University of Alabama, so I'm a Jalen Hurts fan by marriage. So I've become an Eagles fan because of him. So
nice.
Yeah, they've done well. Hopefully that trend continues.
I agree.
So we're fixing to actually get into the part of the live where we're going to actually talk about your band. What I'm going to do, I've got a short live performance video that I'm going to play about a minute of, just so people can get a taste of what you guys are and what you sound like. It's off of YouTube from, looks like it's about March 15th. Y'all are playing a song called Better Days.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to just share that real quick. And here we go. Anyway, like I was telling you beforehand, Sweez, your singer has just an amazing voice. She really is quite gifted. And,
oh, yes. Fox has got a set of pipes on her. Let me tell you, she can wail all day long.
So, so tell me about the band. How long have you guys been together? How did the band form? That kind of thing.
Well, originally, with this current lineup's been together for about maybe right before pre-COVID, when we first started getting together. But previous to that, probably when I first moved down here, 6 to 7 years. And believe it or not, we all met through Craigslist. Fox is from Long Island. She moved to Charlotte. Adam Krabby, the drummer, he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he moved to Charlotte. I'm from Philly. I moved to Charlotte. And we all were musicians looking to join a band, and fate had it that we all got together, and we liked playing the same thing. Then fast forward a little bit later, Colt the guitarist joined in and introduced us to these new ways of not hauling that heavy amplifier that I have. And so God bless him from saving my poor old back from lugging that thing around. And so he joined in. And then when COVID happened, we actually had a good opportunity to just concentrate on writing music and recording. And that's kind of like what you have as the finished product that we have out there now. That we have several music videos, worked with a lot of great writers, producers and whatnot, and it's been a great time and been a great trip.
Nice. So do you play in any other bands or side projects?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, you know, bass players are typically in a partnership of sorts with the drummer as the rhythm section for the band. Tell me about your relationship with the drummer in Forever May Fall.
Sure. Well, Adam's a great guy. We spent just to show how when we did a small mini tour up to basically New York City, right outside of it, and back down to Charlotte. I mean, we spent every moment in the car without killing each other, so we get along. That's the good news. And we had such a good relationship. I mean, there's been times where sometimes our audio equipment was malfunctioning. One time for him and one time for me, and he's like, "I need you to count me in," and then later on, "I need you to count me in." And so yeah, we and basically, I keep telling everybody that, or everybody in the band, if dependent upon what happens with the music, as long as I have the drummer and as long as I have Jill's voice, I can kind of finagle through any other type of complications that may arise, because those two are my cues. The guitar is important.
Gotcha.
Don't get me wrong. I want to make sure that I'm in tune, but just to know that when to start and when to stop, I need my drummer right there with me.
Absolutely. So, tell me a bit about the songwriting process within Forever May Fall. Is there a primary writer or is it a collaborative thing? How does the songwriting go?
But certainly, primary Jill and Colt, the singer and the guitarist, they're gifted musically, more so than I am. I just play the bass, and so a lot of times, they come up with Colt will come up with a lot of these riffs and kind of like structure them together. And her mind is always racing for great lyrics, and so they kind of piece them together. And they have a general idea of what the song should be, and then they kind of open up other avenues and look for other opinions from other artists, such as myself and Adam, as well as other people that are known in the industry, and we kind of piece it together from just that little small seed of an idea. Just got to water it and nurture it and let it grow.
That's awesome. And you were saying before we went live that for the first time you guys are actually in the black, and that's huge. I mean,
so far, I mean, we've had a very successful run for our last couple of shows. So we'd like to thank all the fans out there for supporting us and caring about us, and we love you. So without them, we couldn't be doing what we love. And this is we're going to keep doing it.
Awesome. So is Forever May Fall anything approaching a full-time thing? If it isn't, tell me about your day job.
Fingers crossed, right? That's the idea. I mean, we would love to make a full. We all still have day jobs. This is certainly like I said, like thankfully we're not just getting gas money and drink tickets anymore. We get a little bit, we're actually making a little bit, certainly not enough to make a living, but that is certainly the dream. My professional background is very, very, very boring. It's international trade compliance. Basically, I tell companies how not to get fined by the Customs Border Patrol by how their import and export operations are run. Exciting stuff.
Gotcha. That's actually one of my favorite questions in these, because you get such a varied answer. I've had everything from high-rise crane operators to attorneys to compliance people like you. I mean, it's just fascinating how across the board, yet there's the common thread of music throughout all of these different professions, and it's just really cool.
Absolutely. It's like, we wear these business casual to work, and then on the weekends we're in our rock star attire, having a great time.
Exactly. So what do your coworkers think of your alter ego?
Well, they either one don't care because they don't like that type of music, or very surprised. It's kind of like a polar opposite. There's no like, but it's like, wow, you guys are great, or oh, you're in a band. That's good for you. Like you're 44 and you're still playing in the band.
Hey, chase the dream.
Absolutely. But the ones that love it are again, true fans of music, and they're supportive and everything like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I'm going to pop back over to Instagram real quick and just see if anybody's saying anything. No, we've got a lot of people over there, but they're just being kind of quiet, which is fine. I mean, so what is the most, if you can narrow it down to one or two little anecdotes, what have been some of the most interesting experiences that you've had playing live?
Oh goodness. Interesting anecdotes. I mean, what's this program rated? Is it?
It's there is no rating, so have at it.
No. I'm not going to say anything too terrible, but not in this band. But I was in another band where it was a lot of times it was we got a little bit too whacked out on the wowie sauce, if you know what I mean. We were playing, and this one particular show, our drummer was so drunk that he fell off the back of his chair mid-song. And as I look and I turn, he's still swinging his arms in the air, just laying on his back. And our friend came over and picked him up, put him right in the seat, and he was still right on time, as drunk as he was. Kids, enjoy it. Well, don't drink until you're 21. If you do it responsibly.
Absolutely. So, what would you say is your favorite Forever May Fall song to play live?
Who You Are. Most likely that it's I believe our heaviest song, and it's got a lot of different parts. And again, Fox wails on that song. Like she hits I forget what note it is, but it's pretty high up there. Her octave range is huge. That lady can sing, and so that's a lot of fun playing. I always look forward to it, and it's a crowd pleaser. And it's if you haven't seen the video, check it out on YouTube. Who You Are.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, before you go on live, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you do consistently? Like some athletes will, for instance, unlace their shoes and relace them before a game. Do you have anything that you do consistently before you go on?
No, I really don't have any type of ritual like that at all. Maybe I just always try to check to make sure I have everything, and double and triple and quadruple check to make sure everything's ready to go, just in case something bad happens. Like the string pops. I have the second bass right there ready to go. Both are tuned. I have several picks, several batteries.
Just the typical checklist, huh?
Correctamundo.
Awesome. So, we had talked a little bit about this before we went live, but you had mentioned that your hometown is Philadelphia. What's your favorite thing about Philly?
Oh, God, the food. Charlotte is growing, and so it is getting a little bit more diverse in food. But I never realized growing up in Philadelphia how good I had it. Especially, like, I didn't know that the pizza that I was eating there was actually your traditional New York City style pizza. The thin crust folded in half, perfect combination of cheese and sauce. It's not puffy, anything like that.
Yeah.
And so when I came down here, it's hard to find it. Now, there's a couple of local places that you can go to, so that's certainly there. But also with the lack of pizza is also the lack of Italian food. And so back home in Philadelphia, you could throw a rock and hit a great Italian restaurant, but you would have to drive out of your way to find good barbecue. Down here, you could throw a rock and hit a good barbecue joint, but you have to drive out of your way to get to a good Italian spot.
Gotcha. Yeah. Pretty much the same way here in Atlanta. So, there's great little places, but you have to kind of know about them.
Exactly. Other than that, just the people, the culture, like it was a kind of a culture shock when I first moved down here. Because also it's up there, it's fast, move, go. And I remember one of the first times I'm getting gas, I was paying with cash, so I'm walking inside, and the cash register person is having a conversation with someone in line, like a real conversation, as opposed to, here you go, see you later. Here you go, see you later. It's like, come on, I got somewhere to go. Like, I didn't realize the slower pace of life. But the older I get, I am getting used to it, and I do enjoy it. I like not having to hurry.
But yeah, it is a bit of a culture shock, though. Welcome to the South. Things are a little slower down here.
Yeah, it's not without its charm. I actually do like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, tell me your thoughts on the music scene in Charlotte.
It's booming. I mean, we just had a great show with American Theory, Dove Cage, and Killicoy, and it was a great place. It was these are all local bands, and it's at the same venue where they're going to be hosting. I've seen Bouncing Souls play there, and coming up, I'm going to be seeing Clutch and the Sword play there. Dropkick Murphys is going to be playing there in a couple of months, and so
nice.
for these local bands to pack that facility is just it's great, So there's a lot of other good bands as well that didn't even play that show. They even came up and supported us or supported the whole scene. So it's really growing. It's a great community, and it's fantastic, really.
Cool. So we're now getting to what has really become my favorite question, and I've done this in all 15 of these, and that is, knowing everything you know now, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Other than that, just don't worry about a kid. Your life's going to turn out all right.
Yeah, because there's a lot of angst and a lot of worry when you're young, and things have a tendency to work themselves out. So.
Absolutely, every day is a good one, as long as you wake up on the right side of the dirt. And so I'm still going, and so yeah. It's been great so far.
Awesome, awesome. So, do you, you just mentioned a couple, but do you have any suggestions for any other up and coming bands to check out or to reach out to, possibly to do one of these live streams?
Oh, sure. The ones that I just mentioned, American Theory, Killacoy, Dove Cage, and then Strike the Tower are great. Or they were there. Let me show you what other Charlotte band. I'm the one in the group that knows the least amount of the bands in the Charlotte scene, so maybe you should do an interview with one of the others. But it's again, I'm old. I go out when I can, but it's becoming fewer and farther between. But just look at the shows. McKinley's another one. We played a couple of shows with them. I'm trying to think. Goodness. And it doesn't help that I have terrible ADHD, so my mind's always, I'm probably forgetting so many right now. So if I did, I do apologize.
That's cool. You've definitely given me a good start. And like I said, with these, being a bass player myself, bass is kind of my primary focus, but I am interested in, talking to virtually anybody. So, let the other people in Forever May Fall know that I would be interested in getting them on here as well, because I just love to talk music, and just nerd out about the subject. So
absolutely, sure, will do. Absolutely.
Cool. So something else that we've done in every one of these is the person who is being interviewed gets to pose a question for the next person being interviewed. And so what I'm going to do, my previous guest was Jade, she is the bass player for a shock metal band here in Atlanta called the Bible Belt Massacre. And so her question is, she has found herself heavily influenced by prog rock, a lot of Yes, a lot of Rush, King Crimson, things like that. And she was just wanting to know, wanting to ask the next person, if you find yourself influenced heavily by prog as well in what you listen to or how you play.
Not so much. I mean, I do appreciate it because it's a lot more technical than what I'm doing. So I'm just probably not as good to try to emulate that. But I mean, there are Dream Theater I like, certainly. I don't know if you would call Tool prog rock or not. You see, Unleash the Archers. They're pretty great. I mean, everything that I listen to influences me, even songs that I don't like. I mean, just like, because like a lot of times if you hear music, especially if it's on the radio or a commercial, it's appealing to someone's for some reason. So even if it's just the hook of the chorus, so it still lives with you. It's still in the back of your head when you're trying to, work on a riff or just like just trying to write a new song. It's still influence you whether or not you want to admit to it or not, whether or not for the good, bad, or indifferent.
Absolutely. And, like I said, this is a series. So is there a question that you would like to pose for the next person in the hot seat? And if you don't have anything off the top of your head, you can ping me later.
Yeah, nothing off the top of my head, unfortunately. I will try to get back to you on that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to take another quick look over at the Instagram tab here. Let's see what we've got. No, nobody's really saying much. So besides what you guys have going on Instagram, is there any other social media or web presence for the band that you would like to hype?
Sure. I mean, we also have the Facebook, of course. We also have all of our music on Spotify and Apple Music. Our videos are on YouTube. We have a forevermayfall.com that you can get all of the links for that, as well as tour dates and merchandise. So yeah, if you just Google us, Forever May Fall, you'll find something that you hopefully like.
Absolutely. So, do you guys have any immediate upcoming shows or any new material coming out you would like to talk about?
Sure, we'll be playing in, I believe the show is now changed to, is it Greensboro, South Carolina, or Greensburg? Oh God, don't shoot me if anybody's listening to me. But we'll be playing with Icon for Hire next month in South Carolina.
Okay. Okay. Could it be Greenville?
Maybe. Again, I'm from Philadelphia. I don't get to South Carolina
Gotcha.
much. It used to be, it was originally in Spartanburg at the radio room, but they're going through construction right now, so they had to temporarily relocate it to another venue. But it still is in
Okay.
South
Yeah.
Carolina. It still is in South Carolina, and it will be with Icon for Hire. They're a great band.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I'll take a look at that and see when y'all are playing, because if it's Greenville, Greenville's not that far. So, and I would love to see you guys play live. Do y'all ever make it down to Atlanta?
Not yet, but hey, time, we have nothing but time in the world, so hopefully one day.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So let me take one last look over on Instagram. No, about the same. But Sweez, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being gracious enough to come on here. And it's I really feel like you guys have a very bright future, and I'm excited to follow your progress and see where things go. It's definitely exciting times.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I also appreciate you taking the time to ask me all these questions, so thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, just want to say again, our condolences to everybody affected by what happened in Charlotte today.
Absolutely.
And hopefully everything gets resolved how it needs to be, and everybody comes out of it reasonably okay. And
Yes.
and for those of you that are watching live, thank you. For those of you that are going to be watching on replays, thank you for that as well. If you like what we're doing here, definitely spread the word. Subscribe, follow, like, share, all that good stuff. And we'll just go ahead and sign off, and everybody have a good, safe, and blessed night.
Absolutely. Thank you again, and thank you everybody for watching.